right, there we go. I still got some stuff on the screen, but that's going to have to do while I get this thing going. And see, we got 27 people in here now. Hopefully we have audio now. If we're not, I'm not worried about it. We should have audio while I'm doing this anyway. And we'll just see what we got going from there.
Okay, someone said there was sound in the countdown. No, before. There's not supposed to be sound on the
Yeah, there's no sound on the slideshow intro piece. Maybe I'll add some into that just so it's. I'll put some elevator music on it. And then the intro comes up, and that's where the music kicks in. So, yeah, the montage doesn't have it. Good. So, all right, let's see. Let's get to actually what we're here for. There are cool skins, the overlays. Cool, thank you. Okay, good. Redo the redo. And even Airheads, Airship 23, Carl, Mr. Leahy, needs more dinosaurs. Oh, I can totally do a dinosaur thing. Audio is working fine now. Good. All right. Well, let's show you what we're doing tonight, kids. We're going to bring up the reference image of what we got going on here. This guy. This is what we're doing. What's going on, Flex? James, let's do this. Yeah. I heard some Flex said on the slideshow. No proprietary music. We're not doing that. That would definitely not be advisable. All right. So how was it? When Steve was on earlier today, what time did you sign off, Steve? 2? I had no idea what I was doing. None. No clue. Octopus had been running through my head about maybe doing something like that. So what I did here, this is kind of basically a photo mesh and some tools from a brush set from a place called Tattoo Smart. Tattoo Smart has a bunch of different brushes that work in Procreate and things like that. And there's one really cool one. It's all octopus parts. So it's different heads. It's almost like a Mr. Potato Head. It's got a whole ton of different arms and different positions. And you can just kind of pick and move and kind of do what you want with them. So what I did is I went for some octopus images I had. And then a face I wanted to work with. And then move the tentacle. And just kind of bashed it together. And formed this composition with that brush set, which is what the brush set is for. It's basically like a flash art set, but it's not static in one image. You can kind of piece together your own thing. That's what I did here to create this image, which is really cool. And maybe about 2 hours on it, hour and a half on it, and got it kind of where I want it. And then what I did here is we have the image printed out. So let's talk about image transfer. We've talked about image transfer a bunch of times. How to get your image from paper or your sketch to the surface. Many different ways. So what I did here is I took the image, I printed it out to size. I took a very soft lead pencil. Those are all lead pencil right there. So this is an all lead pencil. All red graphite woodless pencil. This is an 8B, okay? Super soft, okay? And basically I just went around the whole back and got it really nice and even. And there was a lot of it. So it actually would put a really huge line on there. Too much, like Sorel paper. And then just took paper towel and kind of burnished it off and like this, and took the excess. When I did it at first, it was like black. It would come off. No, this image isn't going to be for download or buy. This is just, not every feed is like a project to follow along. There's plenty of other ones up there that people can work with. This one is just kind of a personal one for me, but it's not really going to be a download because it's not a vector. There's nothing to download. It's just an image that I created, and the point of this is, this kind of takes you how to take your own images, not this one in particular, but take your own version, your own image, and then how to transfer it and do it. It's not about, copying exactly what I did just to get the same result. This is more about the process and how you would take your drawing or a reference image and then paint it from there. Okay, which is what I'm going to do here. Alright, so what I did is I just transferred it on. I have my panel here. Let's talk about the panel here for a second. Okay, can you bring the reference image down for a sec? Let's zoom the camera in here. So this is just a white piece of aluminum. And what I did is I did kind of an old school water trick. This was just a white panel that I put a little inner coat clear on, in this case 40/50. I sprayed straight on here. And then what I did, reference image off please. Thank you. So what I did was after I sprayed the clear, the 40/50 on the surface, I just want to get a tooth. I didn't want to go directly on the panel because the water on a sanded panel sets up differently. So I did a coat of that, let that cure a little bit, and then I just misted some water, and then I put just a little bit of illustration teal into my 40/50 to make it a tint, like a wash. And then I sprayed that over it and just let the water dry. I actually put it under a lamp, let it dry. And then when it dried, I gave it one more pass of the same color, just to kind of give it a little something. If you look, you can see that kind of cool texture. And this is going to be a cool water texture for the background, but it'll also be a cool texture for the octopus himself. So which is why I did it like that. All right. And there's that reference image back up. All right, so let's see what we got here. Going to go study. Have a good night. Thanks, honey, for popping in. Cool. And guys, don't forget about them super chats. Those help me tremendously. Keep this feed going. Actually, while we're talking about that, why don't we do this? These actually haven't hit the website yet, MackayFineArt.com, but they were available at the Rendezvous. And what we'll do, these are the prints of the Pack of Skulls panel. I only had a handful of these made. For now, I'm going to be making more. But let's say anyone who does super chats tonight of $1 or more gets entered and automatically win one of these. And what we'll do is then we'll put them on the store next week. This will be signed to whoever wins it. And we'll just go from there. And I'll figure out how to pick a winner. Based off that, I'll assign everyone a number like I did the charity benefit, and we'll give one of these away. So I only had 25 of these made up right now. These are going to be on the store for $20 a piece, and they'll be up sometime soon. So I wanted to tell everyone about those. And let's get going on this. Okay, so back to what we're doing. Transferring the image. So you have all the graphite in the back. Now you could use Sorel paper, carbon paper. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it. But I'm going to stick this on here. I'm going to tape it down. And I think I'm going to have to turn my air conditioner on up here because it's only been off for like 10 minutes and already getting really hot up here. So I might have to turn that on. Okay, so I'm just going to tape that to the board. And take a pen. Whenever I do Sorel paper or anything like that, I always use a pen. Because pencils wear out as you draw, so therefore the line gets thicker. Whereas the pen, it's more targeted. Okay? And now I'm just going to go in. I'm going to draw it out. I'm going to make sure it transfers. The transfer actually is a little too dark, so I'm going to have to be really light here. Let's see, there we go. So I don't have to push down very hard, just really light. I don't want a really dark image. I just want enough so I can see it. And then what's great about doing this technique, we've talked about paper cut and things like that as a template. That works perfectly on this. This is an old illustrator's trick. This isn't like an automotive, cheap trick or something. This is, I remember watching old illustrators and some of the older magazines and older books on painting, doing transfer tricks like this. And I remember I was at one of the Airbrush Action Getaways teaching, and Amanda Hurata, who's no longer with us, was there. And he was actually painting, in the very infancy of that painting, his Princess Leia painting. Not the one where she's all nude, but it's the actual, like, really pretty painting he did. And I watched him do this transfer. And I had always used, like, Sorel and things like that. And, watching him do the graphite trick, to get a really subtle one was really cool. And, basically you didn't need to go buy some expensive, Sorel paper or stuff like that. You could just use just a nice soft pencil. And the cool thing about this is I'm not just trying to line everything up with, the stencil. I'm trying to basically just draw the whole image on here, almost like projecting it, transferring it, whatever you want to call it. Just like when you go see a tattoo portrait. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to start mapping out a lot of the dark shadows and some of the main details. So when I start to go into paint, it all makes sense. And I'm not going to try to like cut a stencil for everything. I'm just really transferring the image. And let me see if you guys can see it. I think you guys can kind of see it. It's a little faint. But I think you get the general idea. Like, is this something I could turn into a plot file? Sure. Does it need to? No. If I was going to do it a bunch of times, sure, we could make a plot file of it. But if I'm just doing an illustration, I'm really, and I want to keep it loose and soft, I don't want to have all those hard edges. I'm not going to use a vinyl cutter or a plotter. I want to do as much freehand as possible. And the only thing I'm doing here is really just that registration. Just like drawing the image, basically drawing it a second time. Got everything here. And we'll talk about some of the colors I'm using tonight. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it pretty simple, as I often do with these feeds, just time-wise. I'm using Illustration Black, but I've mixed that with ultramarine blue a little bit, so it's got a little bit of a blue tone. And then I'm using the newer Illustration Teal. The Critics Illustration Teal. Oh, I noticed this camera's a little out of focus. I want to see. There we go. Sorry about that. That's a little better. Now you can see. Illustration teal and then white. That's it. Let's see, Carl Becker. I was going to ask if you could also use a wood skewer. Yeah, you can use a wood skewer or anything. What I like about the pen, it's sharper. And then if I do want to like cut it as a stencil, I know that my cut will line up with whatever I transferred. Now you can really see that image more clearly and how well it transferred, but not too dark. Okay, I went really hard here and it got really dark, and I don't want that. I want it more subtle. And that's it. So they were just transferred. I can kind of get my bearings. There's what the main shadows are going to be. If you've ever watched like some tattoo artists, you'll see they'll put like kind of the main shadow areas of where everything's going to be. They can kind of map it out a little bit. And it's funny, in the tattoo world, no one gives tattoo artists crap about stenciling. Like, oh, you cheated. Only airbrush artists when they use like paper or something like that. It's almost a funny kind of thing. Okay, so we got that. Cool. All right, I think we're good to go. So now I can take this off. All right, and so these are the colors I did tonight. So basically I have that black. It has a little bit of the blue in it, but it's pretty strong. Then what I did is I added about 20%, 30% 4004 transparent base to that same mixture, and a little bit more reduction, and that's going to be my kind of shader color, and it's very thinner. This is going to be like for the really dark darks. And then I have the illustration teal, and then the ultramarine illustration, and then white's obviously opaque white. Now we're going to do some racing techniques and things like that, and kind of go from there. Just kind of see how we do. Then what I have here is, I printed this out multiple times, and then I did basically a silhouette cut of what I just did. Yes, I did the cooking show thing where, voila, this is all done. But basically what I would normally do is I would basically go around, and I would use this one typically, and then I would basically cut all these shapes just like I just did to arrive with a nice transfer that matches up everything, that goes into place. Oh, see, I didn't cut out actually here, so let's do that. And then I did some other relief cuts for like where things are, and it's going to be like destructive editing basically. It's a term that's actually been used more in illustration on a computer, but I kind of use it here as well. Destructive editing meaning I just kind of keep destroying the template as I go, and basically it whittles away to nothing. It's like basically if you're in Photoshop and you edit the actual image without copying layers, it's called destructive editing, because you're just destroying it as you go. Cool. All right, so, and I'm going to use some templates here. We'll bring in some pocket graphics. We'll bring in definitely some Gerald Mendez texture effects, which I have right here. Got some different sizes of his texture effects. And what I found works really good on this Visionaire is because we've got the steel. I have all my templates up here with Dewey Dave's little skulls. And they're just right up here when I need them. Pocket graphics right here. We are ready to go. Oh, and a little trick too for you guys. I learned this from Steve Leahy. Magnet tape. So I got magnet tape on the back of my panel. Now it doesn't move. And it's easy to reposition. I'm going to go from there. I'm just going to line that up. And I said this before. The steel, these magnets are good enough where I get just enough tension here to hold the panel, okay? See that? It's not a ton, you know, like you can move it pretty easy, but it's just enough to keep it in position for when I'm spraying. And now what I'm going to do is I want to just kind of wash that teal in the background. What I'm going to do is I want to give that water look. And this is, talked about these before, one of my stencils here. This is one of my hot glue templates, which is just taking hot glue and doing some swirls. So I'm just going to kind of give this kind of a wave pattern in the background. And let it kind of swirl. And I'll go over it afterwards and probably add some on top as well. We'll see, it kind of gives it that little something cool in the background. And this way I can get him to step off the background. And I got a little curve here that I didn't cut, so we'll use a little Michael Valley texture. I mean, a curve, we'll kind of blow that in. And I'm just going to kind of hit that. So I'll wash over this whole guy in blue, but I can get the background in blue first. Does the magnet tape affect your stem? No, I haven't noticed it actually. I mean, I'm sure if I was using thin metal, it probably would, or it might kind of reject it. But it's not rejecting it here. No, not at all. Good question. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that same, I'm going to do the same thing, keep it in place. And I'm going to put just a little bit of ultramarine blue, but mainly just around the edges. I don't want to get it just enough to set it apart. See, now I have that there, which is nice. Yeah, Sam, it doesn't seem to affect it. I'm sure if I had, there was enough polarity there, they would. You know, obviously like these do the whole flip thing. Magnet tape, yeah. If I don't flip them, it'd be fine. So, yep, now we're good. And then from here on out, man, I am just going to do most of this freehand. And just kind of, you know, might just do something like that. And you know what, I'm not even going to really do that. Yeah, let me do this. We'll do a little bit of cut separation so you can see it. Hey, London! What's going on, Sean? Yeah, we'll do this kind of head separation here. You can kind of see that. Just enough of that. And then we're just going to work from the photo reference. Really liking this. Love Octopus rendering. Yeah, it definitely creates illusion detail, but it also is a ton of detail. Timing wise, it's, you know, we'll see how we do with this. And my thing here is I'm going to try to work really thin. And just really start giving it some texture. thin this down more, actually. Add another probably 10-15% 40-11 to it. Shake it up. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that is. Let's bring up our little handy dandy airbrush widget. Nice and tight, small lines. Basically, I'm looking for this fade right here to be really subtle. That's what I want. So I just really want to get this texture in. Let's do a little texture effects here, a little Gerald Mendez. So that just really just adds to it. How's it going, Matt? What size is the panel? This is 9x12. It's a 9x12 inch panel. Yeah, definitely like and subscribe, guys. We just broke 7,000. So if there's any new people here, let me know if this is your first few times watching. Really trying to get this channel to grow. I'd love to hit the 10,000 mark before the end of the summer. It's a personal goal of mine. Let's see if we can make that happen. Right now, I'm working with almost ink consistency. I think I'm going to actually thin this down a little more. Maybe lower the pressure a bit. Did you modify the tip of the Takumi? It almost looks like... No, I didn't modify it. Well, it's a different tip. This is... It's similar to the H&S one, but this was the Black Devil tip, which is from Marissa Osterley. Congratulations, Scott.
For 7,000.
For what's that?
For breaking the subscribe.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. 7's good, man. I'm happy with that. I really want to get to 10 this year. And said 10 opens up a lot of other options. There we go. So now let's see how a little erasing works. Let's bring in this here. And we're going to bring in just a little bit of erasing and kind of bring that light back to the edge. As opposed to going with white. This is a really cool feature to do. If you want it really soft, you just kind of skate over the top using the flat side, like using this, instead, as opposed to the edge. Use the edge, you'll get sharp lines. I can see how much work it is. Are you talking about just painting live or the whole camera setup stuff to record and that stuff? It is definitely time consuming. What? You're not getting anything. Just like painting, you keep getting better at it. The more you do it, the better you get. And if you don't have one of these fancy guys, then the eraser sticks work really well. Also, are these. Come in here, just can use erasing. Both, yeah. Got it. You can use wooden dowels too. I know a couple of Drew Blair's videos he uses like a wood stick to get some more aggressive texture. But yeah, see how that little bit there just basically got that just nice kind of look. And I gotta go a little darker right there. So it's kind of a little bit of the Steve Leahy trick when he's doing his flip. It's a lot, yeah. Are you going to do a giveaway? When I hit 10,000, I'm gonna plan a giveaway. I just gotta look into how to set that up properly. And we are doing a giveaway tonight. Anyone who does Super Chat of $1 or more will get entered into winning one of these guys. What are the erasers? They're eraser sticks. They're typewriter erasers. That's what they are. That's what they started out at. And, you know, the airbrush industry has been adopting them back into the realm for kind of years now. I want to do some, like, very thin, like, veining.
I agree with Nameless. The scratching noise. It is the worst noise ever.
Yeah.
You don't have noise issues like I do. I tweak with weird noises so much.
Yeah. It definitely sounds different on camera than in person, but let's see what's going through. These are just freehand textures. Hey, Gary, what's going on, man? You got a package on your way. I think I sent it yesterday. The Eagle, so you'll be seeing that. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to switch. I'm going to switch and I'll zoom in here for you guys. And like anything, man, it just practice.
I agree with Gary. Fingernails on chalkboard is worse.
Yes, it is.
It's horrible. People, it hurt, like, one of my teachers accidentally skipped their nails on a chalkboard once. It was...
Oops. Sorry about that. I just lost the zoom. But yeah, see what I'm doing up here? And kind of matching the reference. I'm just going in and just very thin. The paint's thinned down just right. I'm just doing little veins and kind of, you know, Kaylee, what's it called, like their skin on octopuses? Because it has that, you know, the way it changes colors and stuff. There's a term for it. I know someone's going to get it.
Oh, it's camouflage.
Yeah, the way the camouflage is, I forget what the term for how their skin is set up. why it does what it does.
Yeah, everyone's just talking about things that get them. Forks on plates.
Okay, pull the reference image down. But yeah, so I'm just going in and just kind of getting some of this texture here.
No, it's not bioluminescence. Bioluminescence is glowing.
Yeah, no, it's
I'm thinking of like the name of like the cell that they use to like tell what color like dinosaurs were.
Yeah, Man,
Melanoplast?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it is. Yeah, it's not the bioluminescent, because octopus don't really emit light, but there's another term. Darn it! Curse you. Chameleon skin, kind of, but there's a term for like the skin itself, like what it does. Like, unless I'm just wrong, but I know this. I'm not wrong.
Melanosomes are an intercellular organelles that are uniquely generated by pigment cells in the skin eye.
Pigment cells.
So that's how you scientists can tell what color dinosaurs were.
Ah. Anyway, whatever. Oh, I've heard the term, and I can't think of it. But if Dennis Matheson was on, Dennis would know. Chromatophores. Chromatophores. That's what it is. That was the term I'm looking for. Chromatophores. I should have done that as a giveaway question instead of letting you answer it. Chromatophores. It's metaphorical. Sorry. Yeah, I just pulled a deep cut, kind of. Yeah, you got it after. Thinking crypsis, huh? I was still stuck on camouflage. Yes, camouflage is what it's doing, but yeah, the chromatophores actually like shift and change colors, and that's how they basically hide and can change into whatever the frig they want. Which is cool. Octopus are cool.
Michael's really had a pet octopus.
Did you really? That's awesome. Must have been really tough to keep the tank balanced.
Oh, yeah.
I'd imagine they're not easy to make happy.
And they're too smart, too. I feel like they're just escaping all the time, eating their food. Like, in aquariums, octopuses escape
like
so often.
Yeah, because
the most common animal to escape because they know how to open locks.
Yeah, they can kind of figure out everything. It's because they're aliens.
They are really like it. Like, it's so weird. But we also can't say they're aliens because there's multiple different types of them.
Anyone watch the show Resident Alien? Which is really cool. It's with what is his name from Firefly and everything? Alan Tudyk? No, not Alan Tudyk. Anyway, there's some funny things in there about like octopus and stuff and aliens.
share that with cuttlefish. Correct. Oh yeah, iridophores. That's the other one.
What was it?
Iridophores.
Iridophores. Aha.
I think that's the one that allows them to flash. Like, that's what cuttlefish have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the cuttlefish, definitely, some of the breeds emit light, and they have a bioluminescent to it, whereas most of the octopus, I don't think they do.
I'm going to look up iridophores. I've never heard of this. Which is weird, because...
Yeah, Alan Tudyk. Okay, yeah, Alan Tudyk. So if you've seen the show Resident Alien, there's some great octopus referencing.
They're a type of chromatophore that reflects light using plates of crystalline chemochrome made from...
Alright, who's Googling? Oh.
When illuminated, they
Oh,
generate...
Kaylee's Googling.
When illuminated, they generate iridescent colors because of the constructive interference of light. So they have them, but you don't see them in water because they're not reflecting light like that.
Aha.
That's cool.
So, like...
What else has that, I think?
This is
frogfish.
What is it? The clownfish? Yeah.
Frogfish.
Oh, yeah.
They're the ones that, like, have, like, the really fast jaw on the lure.
Yep.
That walk.
So what I did here, that's the first color. Now, when I want to get in and do the really dark, I come in with the second kind of black tone. So that first color is pretty thin. It's not going to go to like that 100% black. So when I really want to like kind of add more detail down to here, this is where that other kind of 100% black comes in and allows me to really get some sharp, crisp details in here. But if I use this color the whole time, it's going to get too dark too fast. That's what I don't like. They have a very short lifespan. Most only live maybe 3 at best. Wow. What about the big ones? The big, huge ones?
Those are squid.
No, the giant octopus, like the big red ones.
Oh, I thought like, when you said giant, I always thought it was giant squid. I mean, it also probably depends on the difference between in the wild and captivity.
Yeah.
I want to do giant. I can't spell. Yeah, 3 to 5 years.
Oh, even the big ones, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, that
2
isn't...
years, 5, what's 2? Yeah, wow. Oh, this is something kind of related. Lion's mane jellyfish only live for 12 months. 12 months. So, you know those massive jellyfish that are like the size of, like, sometimes the size of a person?
Didn't know that.
That's cool. I wonder how long cuttlefish live.
But I haven't done like a straight up octopus in quite a while. They've always been like skull, octopus, or some type of other thing. I just wanted to do a regular one.
Cuttlefish live 2 years. Apparently, cuttlefish also make good pets. I don't see that working out well.
I don't know if I call anything like that a pet.
They make great pets for those willing to meet their very specific needs. I think that makes them a complicated pet.
Right?
Like, isn't that the definition of a complicated pet, having extremely specific needs?
Yeah. Deep Rising. I remember that movie. I remember the movie being out, but I don't remember it. No, that was before your time. I remember it had a really bitchin' cover. I used to work at a video store. And,
Did you ever watch it? Yeah?
what's that?
Did you ever watch
I
it?
think I did, but it was either in the early, sometime in the 90s or, yeah. the early days.
Anglerfish, yeah. Anglerfish are cool. And I agree that it looks like a piranha on steroids.
Yeah, this
Piranhas
painting.
are cool. I like piranhas.
So, looking at this painting, and I'm an hour in. This is not going to be a done painting tonight.
No.
So we're not going to even auction this. We're just going to paint, and it's just kind of a hangout night.
Watch the video of an octopus dreaming. We'll have to look at that later.
Oh, I see that they start like changing colors and doing all weird.
Really? That's really cool.
Yeah, I want to make this like a really nice illustration grade thing, I think.
I wish I had enough time in my schedule next year to take marine biology along with all my other courses.
Oh yeah.
Taking a double block chemistry and a forensics class, so I don't have space. I'll take it in senior year probably.
Yeah, you can probably always bring it in on your college side.
Yeah, it would be cool to get it sooner. Yeah.
And so you just basically work in this area. They have a beak. Yeah, they have a beak-like mouth. Yep. Well, yeah, we were talking about the other day. They can fit into any hole as long as it's not smaller than the beak itself. But anything else they can fit through.
Yep, it's really cool.
So.
I like them.
Because the beak is the only hard thing on there. Yeah, so I definitely have some plans for some upcoming feeds and projects for those wanting to do some of the downloads. The Reaper one is definitely coming in the near future, so we're going to plan that one out. So we're going to do a Reaper one. That's going to have a couple different things. I'm going to do the Eagle version with multiple eagles like the one from the other day, but we got that. But I am totally open to suggestions for those who would like to see specific how-tos. Definitely let me know. So my plan here is I'll do all this in black and grays, and we'll start washing some different colors on top and do some highlighting and really give this a really cool look. Let's see, TV that transfers your art.
Yeah, it's like a specific projector specifically made for that, if I remember.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to project and transfer. So there's some who was like it uses a mirror reflection.
Wasn't there one that was like glasses?
There's one where glasses you can do, where you can wear glasses, then you can see. You look at the photo and your eyes. There's a bunch of different ways to do it.
Whoa! My wife and I were fishing in Rhode Island last year, and she had a crab eating her bait. And when she brought it up, there was an octopus trying to eat the crab.
Oh, nice! Yeah,
That was really cool.
I used to spend weekends in Rhode Island as a kid down in Warwick, and never caught octopus, but definitely a lot of crab while we were fishing. Yeah, so Lucy drawing, that was a table. So the Lucy, a buddy of mine had one, was basically like, it was, it was basically looked like a light table, but inside it basically had baffles and mirrors that would go up and down, so you could actually increase and decrease the size and project it up from the underside. It was a really cool machine. The first time I saw that, my friend Rob, who passed away a few years ago, he had one. And he had learned that trick from like Frazetta and Soriyama. If you look at, there's an old Airbrush Action DVD on Soriyama painting, and he uses the Lucy to like upscale his image and get it onto the board. So this is the key with erasing. Subtle amounts of paint. You don't want too much on there because then it starts to like really get harsh through it. But if you paint soft and subtle, it gives you a lot of opportunity to do some nice subtle erasing. Lucida is the actual term. Oh yeah. Yep. Remember, we used to always kind of like a Sally or something like that. I always mixed it up, but that was not it. Yeah, there's lots of ways. Like I have some really good projectors as well. Like I said, there's really good high def projectors you can use. Paper transfers like I'm doing always work. They're always successful. But yeah, I think we'll just make this video like a multi-part video, and this is part one, and maybe I'll record some other ones, and maybe we'll see if we make this a giveaway. When I hit the 10,000 mark, that would be cool. But you can see I'll get that really nice skin texture. If you look in the picture-in-picture view here, you can kind of see it starting to happen. And if things are too harsh, then when I go in with the white, which I have, the white will kind of give you that blue shift, which in a lot of paintings you don't want, but in this one it's fine. Now I can go in with white and I can kind of soften up areas, kind of blend areas together and just kind of get that nice kind of silky, smooth feel. Some Carol Mendes texture effects in here, which probably can't see too well on camera, but you see it just gives it, when you're seeing it in person, you just see all those little subtleties. That really helps. Hey! Dude, people were talking so much smack about you. It's crazy. You're gonna have to go back and watch it. So yeah, note to self. A full octopus painting is not a 2-hour painting. But I think this will be a cool multi-step, video. I'll maybe turn this into some parts, because I did record this whole thing. And this is more about just kind of getting that back of the head set up. Establishing that tone and texture. And we'll move around to the rest of it. Various techniques. But the erasing and the water drop definitely gives it a cool look. This is why we need Rod Fuchs in here. It's always a blast to have him and Leahy go at it. A lot of people think they really don't like each other. It's not true. They do such a good job. So now what I'm doing is I'm using the stencil here that I cut. I'm going to move it down. Just create a soft shadow that mimics the shape. It just helps give that lift. Thanks, Marshall. Yeah, some weeks my goal is to get a painting done, 2.5 hours. Hope someone bids on it to justify the amount of hours spent on it. But this one, I'm just going to make this more of a fine art illustration. And then we'll just put it up for sale or something for what it's going to be worth time-wise.
Marshall's question?
What's that?
Is this an instance where you almost want the blue shift?
Yeah, so the blue shift here isn't really a problem because, I'm working in this kind of black-blue tone realm, so the blue shift is actually going to aid this, as opposed to if you're doing a portrait, you wouldn't want that blue shift white to be on like a face or something because it would just ruin it, and that's why, cutting it with orange works great, or using that Titan Buff color, which is the new Creatrix illustration color, that would come in really handy. But here, I don't want that orangey kind of tone because it'll be counterintuitive to what I'm doing here. So, underwater stuff, the blue shift really isn't a problem. Oh, a little good tips, for getting, when you're painting this small, not like this is super small compared to Leahy's, so this is a wall mural compared to Leahy's work, but, the paint, the key is getting it really thin, for one, and I strain it. A lot of people, I don't get it either. Maybe it's because I've done so much automotive for years. Everyone gets, weird about why do I have to strain my paint. It should pour out of the bottle perfectly every time. Well, usually it does for the first time. But every time you open and close that, you let air to that bottle. And you let air in that bottle, there will be some slight drying every time. So I always recommend straining your paint. I don't know an auto bodying guy in the world that goes to paint a car, it doesn't strain his paint before he sprays a car. We all know what happens. You get little dried flecks, things like that will get in, And when you're using a 0.18 micron or 0.23, a little piece of dried paint will really mess you up. So what I usually do is I strain it 2 or 3 times through one of these guides I've made before. I've talked about it before. I'll do a quick video on how I make these. I meant to, I just haven't done it. It's just tobacco screen, like a pipe, and then just a fitting, and they just fit perfectly in. I strain it 2 or 3 times. Sometimes I'll put like 2 or 3 screens to make it finer. You can, there's finer ones you can get, but it actually helps kind of aerate the paint a little bit and get everything kind of mixed up. We're all muralists compared to Steve. This is so true. Let's see. Let's move down away from that. I'm going to move down to this area. I want to do this lower tentacle here and get a little bit of that going. Just make that video, Marshall, on how to do the strainer. Yeah, I'll get on that. I get asked it quite a bit. I gotta make that, and I'll do one on the glue templates at some point too. I'm almost through my busy bike season. I got 2 more I'm finishing. One, there's like a Boston sports bike that's just about done. And then I got a really bitchin' Reaper bike that's going to be all Grim Reaper themed. The whole bike from tip to tail is going to have all different scenes of Grim Reapers on it. So that's going to be coming up. And then I'm going to focus a lot of time on some videos after those 2 are done. Let's see, once you get your paint right, just all this thin painting. Just start adding texture in.
Endless after endless texture pulling hair thin fine lines on shirts that have already been layered with paint.
Well, I mean, for me, on shirts was always even just layered paint. What I would probably do if it's really thick and the nap is kind of, getting chunky, I would definitely use I would definitely heat set that shirt to kind of flatten those colors. And with me, if I'm doing like white lines or black lines, I'm going to jack the pressure up, and I'm going to get really close to the shirt and move really fast. That's how I always did shirts when I did them, and that's how I got those razor thin lines on shirts. As for freehand, I mean, yeah, there's ways to use templates and like tape edges and paper edges and things like that. But if you just want to do freehand, like super crisp lines, the only way to really do it is I always found high pressure. But you got to make sure that nap is down in the fabric, especially if you're trying to do white. The shirt's got to be heat setted because the white just keeps soaking up into it. Oh, hey, Marshall, thanks for that. Yeah, that bike, the customer just got it today, so he's super stoked. That was a bike I partnered with Crazy Customs, which was a friend of mine, Eric Silverio, out of Boston. Here, we worked together for years on a lot of different projects, and so he did all the base and clear and candy, and then he did the final striping on the borders, and I did all the graphic layout and the artwork and the leafing and things like that. So we work together a lot. We've done that for years. Yeah, I'm just going in and micro dagger strokes, basically. That's what I'm doing here. I wonder if I can zoom really in on an area. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in. Let me check this out here. Pause for a second, people. I'm going to see if I can get in on that tentacle right here, and if I can focus in really tight on that. It's pretty small for what this camera is, so I don't know how much tighter I can get. I need to get a better top-down camera. Just a little. We know how that looks on screen. I want to why so low TNS? Guess 40, 50 first. For the, I don't know if I use 4050 on a shirt. You could 4030 or 4004, but they have another one, which I did a video on, which is I forget what it was, 4052 or something like that. Basically, spray that on and then heat press it, and it's like spraying on a hard canvas at that point. Try heat sinking spray again. Jacking the pressure up isn't an option. You can't do ultra fine line t-shirt lines with thick paint at 35 psi. It's just not going to work. You're not going to get it. It's going to be all gravelly on you. You need to get that up to like 60 psi. My shirt days were minimum at 40 to 50 was minimum. I would average at 60. When I was going for like super fast pin lines, I was at 80 psi. So I got a few different cameras. This top-down one is just a small. It's like it's nothing great. It's supposed to be a high-def camera, and it does an all-right job. But I don't think it can let enough light in. I wonder if I bring up a brighter light, if it'll help. Kind of get that. Yeah, like this angle is my DSLR. This angle is a DSLR. This one here, then this one. But if I hit zoom on this one right now, all the information comes up on screen, which is kind of a pain. So I eventually get some different cameras. So I can, if I do this now, watch, all the data will come up on screen. See that? Now you'd have to see all that stuff, and which is cool. But now all that's going to be there for a while, and I don't want to leave it like that. So. But we're slowly getting there. Investing more and more cameras and things like that. We'll come with time. And subscribers and maybe some sponsors and things like that will come aboard. Yeah, you can thin the paint, but if you thin the paint, then you don't get the super crisp line. So it's always a balance between when I want like very bold... When I want very bold, crisp lines, I'm going to make sure my paint viscosity is pretty thick and my air pressure is high. So I can ram that thicker viscosity paint through the nozzle and get crisp coverage in one shot. And that's kind of the key to getting that to happen. You need to compensate by using thin needles and over-reducing the paint. You can do that, but again, like I was saying, Amos, what you won't get is... You won't get the crisp, sharp line if the paint's too thin. So you're definitely going to want to look into ways to increase that air pressure, either bigger compressor. Another thing you can do, man, I painted for years a dead silent CO2 tank. I used to use a 20-pound or 40-pound CO2 tank, and with a regulator on it, and I could paint at 50, 60 psi with that, no noise. Oh, no, I didn't think you were complaining. Thanks. Yeah, that's, we're definitely increasing the quality as we go. I know I was watching one of Nub's feeds, and they were using some camera. And it's all about the glass lens, and I just got to invest in some good lenses to do it. But it's funny that, I'm doing this for free. So, I'll see if I can get one of my sponsors to like sponsor a camera, and then we'll make it their camera for the feed. But see how we're starting to get that texture in there, same as this. Just kind of working it in, taking my time. Never thought that would work. Oh man, yeah, Mark. We did CO2 for years. When I do t-shirt events, we used to do them. And actually, when I worked at the malls painting shirts, we used 90-pound, the big, tall, like 6-foot tall CO2 tanks. We didn't use compressors at the malls painting shirts. We used those because you could paint for a week out of it. And that's full time, like 12 hours a day painting. They're very efficient, and there's no noise. The nice thing is, it's perfectly dry, clean, crisp air. But I've done little 20-pounders or 40-pounders, you know, like 2-foot tall ones. I used to do like t-shirt gigs. I do, 4-hour t-shirt gigs with no problem. I'd bring a second one. I'd bring 2 tanks. But, you don't even have to go buy the tank. You can rent the tank. They're like $13 or $24 to rent it, and it's just a fee, and then you just pay for the fill-ups. So if I was painting at this pressure, I could get 40 hours out of it, at least. If I'm painting t-shirt full blown out, I could get 4 hours of like heavy t-shirt painting. The name is but a dead silent 4-hour event at 60 psi is amazing. And then if you get bigger tanks, it'll go more. But if you're painting at like 20-30 psi, that thing's will last you 20-30 hours on one fill. And like I said, clean air. If you can't afford a $400 or $500 compressor, that'll do the job. That is a nice option. It's also a nice option if you like live in an apartment or you have someone like that's really sensitive to the noise of the compressor. You can work all night and not bother anyone. I used to use it here in the feeds once in a while, as opposed to that compressor that just kicked on, so you couldn't hear anything. They lost, it's like anything. If you keep the pressure like this for like 8 hours, yeah, maybe you'll wear it down. But remember, you're painting like this all day, and you're kind of on and off, and they last a long time. You'll be surprised how long they last. Think about how many hours of cooking you get out of a propane tank when you cook. Think about that. How many hours of gas grilling you get out of that? And a CO2 tank is charged more and has more pressure in it, and they go forever. Nope. And then Carl, the nice thing about, like I said, I keep saying about using that, it is crisp, clean, dry air. There's never any contamination problems or things like that. I'm telling you, t-shirt gigs for years. Like with the cart I used to work at the malls back in the day, he had 20 carts, and you can't have a loud compressor running in a mall all day that can handle that PSI. It's just, especially those little carts. So behind the Airbrush station, we just had a 20-pound tank. No, not the little 2 ounce. I'm talking about 20 to 40 pound, like the 2-foot tall tanks. Yep, you can just go nameless. You can just go to like a gas supplier that does like welding gas and things like that. They'll have CO2. You can rent the tank. You'll have to buy the regulator. Actually, if you go to Coast Airbrush, Dave sells the regulators that work. They work really well. And then all you got to do is buy a tank. And not even buy the tank. You just lease the tank and rent it. And they only charge you like a $30 fee or something like that most places. Mr. Mendez. How we doing, sir? Thank you for coming tonight and hanging out. We're just doing a little octopus illustration. CO2 just ain't for kegerator anymore. Exactly. Actually, you can get the regulators at like a craft, like if there's any like craft beer places, like brewing kits for people who want to brew their own beer. They sell the regulators there, as well if you want to get them local, or if Dave doesn't have the ones he sells in stock. Mr. Details, that's right. We've used some Mendez product tonight. So right now, yeah, I'm just doing all the little kind of squiggle details of that skin, and talk about the chromatophores, and just trying to get all that in there. I'm not trying to do anything too detailed, just kind of establish the kind of basics of it. Get those shapes in there. And maybe I'll continue this painting next week, or maybe this is a good one to keep on deck for when I don't know what to paint that day. I don't have a big project plan. I can just pull this up and slowly get this one done. But yeah, hour and a half, just that section. Hey, Michelle. Michelle's in the house, Kaylee.
Hi.
Kaylee had her last final today.
It was my only final.
Her only final, but
They weren't supposed to be giving finals technically, but chemistry said, oh well, we're gonna do it anyway.
well, you're an AP. That happens.
I'm not an AP.
Oh, I thought you were for chem.
I am next year. This is an honors class, but all the chemistry classes did finals.
Yeah.
We didn't even have a math final.
So it's funny, on camera this looks almost like fully black, but in person it's really very visible. Let's see if I can bring some more light down. You can see. Whoa. Getting there, getting there. Yep, she's got 2 more days. She's just got tomorrow and then...
And I have 2.5 more days.
1.5 more days.
2.5.
I didn't think you would. What, Monday's your last day?
No.
Tuesday?
Yeah.
Oh well, she has to go to school Monday and Tuesday too.
Taylor has to go Wednesday. Taylor Ladd.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of the seniors. They got out like 2 weeks ago.
The seniors are already out. Yep.
been stressful, and it's going to be even more stressful next year.
Why is school still in session? No makeup days. This is when we get done. We get done mid-June. We go back after Labor Day here, whereas a lot of
going back even later next year.
So like most states, a lot of times go back before Labor Day. We don't. We usually go the week after. So. Ooh, that looks really black.
Or no, I think technically we had 2 makeup days because I think.
All right. Here on the East Coast, yeah, middle of June. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, did we have makeup days at the school?
2.
Oh, we had 2. Yeah.
Because I was technically supposed to get out tomorrow.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, we used to go to about the 15th to 18th, so it was always that's where my birthday falls. So it was always nice because we were getting out on my birthday. It was like a gift. I cannot wait for kids to go back to school here. They've only been out a couple of weeks. It drives me nuts. Just pushing. Yep, so this is definitely the slow painting process of illustration. Maybe I should have done it smaller. That's why Steve paints so small. It takes less time. I'm going to shape that eye in here. And I think I'm going to call it a night soon. That nice in the center here. Get that eye nice and white. That way I can cut it back in. I'm going to bring back out the edges there and just pop that. See how that, just that little bit of erasing, just pop that right out. The bigger, the more detail. Yep, but you can do more detail in a small area with less strokes. It's all relative. But this is a great project to use, like all these erasing techniques and scratching techniques and things like that, because you just get so much out of it. It's lunchtime at work. Have a good one, sir. And just keep working from there. I like to think of Steve as the Chuck Norris of painting. The laws physically don't apply. The Chuck Norris of painting. Hear that, Steve? The Chuck Norris of painting. Yeah, so we'll paint him. We're gonna give him a little wash of color later. Then I want to get this background really dramatic and like really set back dark, so it pushes him forward. This will be a really cool piece when it's done. Maybe we'll do some daytime videos with this one. This would be a nice one to pull up some daytime videos for those who can't watch at night. Steve might be taking a nap. Nope, he's here. Exactly, Gerald. Details. Definitely details. I'm going to give a little bit more texture in here. Addison's 5:30. Oof. I woke up late this morning. I try to wake up late on my live feed night. So I can not be dragging ass in here. Do some squiggles down in here. Trying to start these Mackay paints every day campaign. Yeah, that's not enough money in YouTube videos for me to be painting every day here. I'd welcome it. It'd be cool, but maybe someday. Yeah, definitely don't forget to subscribe and share and sign up for notifications so when I'm doing these videos you hear about them. And the more traction I get, the easier it is to do. Black Cloud, how's it going, man? It's going well. It's going well. We're just getting ready to wrap things up for the night. Doing a little octopus illustration. This one, yeah, this is a custom CH. Old one. This is the one I had done in my Star-Lord Guardians of the Galaxy motif. So it's basically got all the colors of Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy in this one. And then that's the opposing, that's the Eclipse with the same look. We'll probably go and I might actually mix some candy black up and do some candy black accents here. I gotta talk to Gerald again and get his recipe for black. Yeah, we're gonna make this. Yeah, I'm gonna make this in multiple parts. This is definitely too involved for a 2-hour smash feed to get it done. So I'll do multiple pieces and we'll bring it back from time to time and I'll note all my colors so I can mix them up again. We'll add some time-lapse videos and things like that into here. I'll post up the video on how I did the drawing to begin with. For Black Hole, I'm going to try to do some daytime ones too. Like I said, maybe I'll use this one as like a continuation daytime feed so people with different schedules or different parts of the world can catch it live as well. Wrapping jet skis. Yeah. Black Cloud, where you out of? Oh, okay. Not too far. Coming along cool. I like the tone we're getting in here. Everything's starting to flow together nice. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Have a good one, man. Yeah, it's getting there. From my design to my layout. Coming along rather nicely. I meant Barker. Cool, cool, cool. Any got any questions before I wrap this up for the night? Because I'm thinking it's going to happen anytime now. Thanks, Cody. Oh, Jesus. I'll call you later, Steve, and explain it to you.
You need a gas chamber? I wish.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to worry about that soon.
Yeah, man, I got to put super in mine, which is really awesome. So on that note, we are going to call it I'm going to call this a night, I think. Whoops. Oh, wrong one. There we go. Hope everyone had a good night. I'm going to wrap it up here. This is a really cool piece coming along. I was working in some other videos, maybe throughout the week or some other times some pre-recording. Thanks everyone for popping in the Thursday night. Send some suggestions my way on Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Or in the comments below. Make sure you like, subscribe, and tell all your friends, and we'll grow this channel. And we'll plan a future giveaway when I hit 10,000 subscribers. Just got to make a plan for it and a painting for it. We'll see what that is, but I'll let you all know. Hope you all have a good night, have a safe weekend, and I will talk to you all later.